Yes, lads, Shaw here, and I'm absolutely delighted to make my first video on the channel. We'll be going over our Game Week 19 team and how we got on, and our Game Week 20 team selection. I just want to say thank you to absolutely every one of you that have been supporting me recently. It doesn't go unnoticed, and I really appreciate it. So let's get right into it. So Game Week 19 was not bad at all, and we are 10th in the world, which is pretty good. So we'll start with the keeper. We got 53 points. Dubravka with a 2-pointer. Unfortunate that Chris Wood turned into Messi. We have Trent, Porro, and Virgil all returning. Porro somehow came back with 5 points after conceding 4 goals against Brighton that looked phenomenal. Trent and Virgil doing the business at the back, 8 and 7 points, which is I'm more than happy with that. Cole at the back for Chelsea, getting subbed off early for Poch. Kind of disappointed about that, but it was either him or Mateta, and I mean they're both as bad this week. Saka in midfield. A lot of people are getting fed up with Saka. Me personally, I think he's probably one to hold during the international break. There's not many other great options, and I think you just need to be patient with him, even though he's not on the best of form. But he plays for Arsenal at the end of the day, and they always look sharp. Saying that, they just lost to West Ham, so a lot of people I expect to be moving him on. Next, we had our captain Salah. He was poor, but that fixture against Burnley, I wouldn't have changed it. If you gave me that fixture 10 times in a row, I would have captained him 10 times. So unfortunate with that, but he had a high effective ownership this week, so I don't think it made much difference. Foden and Son. So Foden came back with a goal. He scored a banger from outside the box. I was well happy with that, but small bit disappointed because he hit the crossbar and he played really well. I expect a lot of people to be going on to Foden this week. Son with the 5-point cameo. He got an assist to Valise, and I mean he didn't play great at all, but he'll be going off soon, so we will have to be looking for replacements for him. Gabriel Jesus with the 1-pointer. He could have had a hat-trick, and Alvarez with 8. I mean he didn't play so great either, but we take that all day. I mean we have him because he's on penalties after all. So let's move on to our Game Week 20 selection. So Game Week 20 is definitely going to be an interesting week for FPL. This is the last opportunity to use your wildcard for those that have it left. And there'll be a lot of differential captains this week, so I think it'll be a good one. So we'll start with our goalkeeper, Emi Martinez versus Burnley at home. That's a great fixture for Villa, and I suspect a clean sheet there. But you never know. Burnley can nick a goal every now and then, but I'm happy going into the game week with Martinez. We'll go into the defence next. We have Trent versus Newcastle at home. I mean, I've started Trent at every opportunity I can. I think he's a great option regardless of the fixture. So happy to be holding him. Pedro Porro versus Bournemouth at home. So this is just after the 4-2 game versus Brighton. We looked off the ball completely, and without Romero, we look very, very brittle at the back. But again, I don't think a lot of us have Porro because Tottenham are a good defence. It's more so he's really good at attacking returns. So I'm happy to go into the game week against Bournemouth, even though I think we probably will win. Bournemouth are on good form though, so we'll see what happens. So we're actually doubling up with Villa defence. We got Pau Torres. So he's an interesting one because he's potentially injured. He was on the bench against United and he didn't come on, but I think he will start against Burnley. It'd be a good game for him to come back into the side, and I'm fairly happy with him. In the midfield, we have Saka. A lot of people, like I said, are probably fed up with Saka, but I don't think it's time to move him on. I mean, he has great fixtures and Arsenal are still a good side, so I would probably be holding Saka, but I can see why you'd be swayed by other picks. So next we have Salah. Salah versus Newcastle. I'm actually considering getting rid of Salah this week because I have 2 free transfers and he is going to AFCON next week. So I'm not quite sure exactly what I'm going to do. But I might be considering getting Bruno Fernandes, and a lot of people will call me crazy for that, but we'll see. Next we have Phil Foden versus Sheffield United. He is probably going to be my captain. Why is he going to be my captain? I thought he was absolutely phenomenal against Everton, and they were very poor in the first half. And considering they were poor in the first half, the second half he looked absolutely phenomenal, and he played good in the first half as well. He looked really sharp. He was making half turns, picking up the ball and spinning fellas, picking up fouls, and he looked like the focal point of what City were doing while Haaland and De Bruyne are out. Personally, I don't think he's a minute risk going into the next coming weeks, even with Haaland and De Bruyne coming back. He looks a great option, and especially against Sheffield United. I'm really fancying him as captain. Next, we have Son against Bournemouth. Really poor performance, even though he picked up assists against Brighton. But Bournemouth at home, you never know. Son could always bag, so I'm happy to start him. Next, we have Palmer coming back from suspension against Luton away. Now, Luton away isn't the greatest of fixtures, but when Nkunku back, he looks very bright, and I'm happy to start Palmer. It's going to be interesting to see how Chelsea play with Palmer and Nkunku. I feel like they're two very good creative players, so we could see a different Chelsea when Palmer comes back on that side. So Gabriel Jesus has just had a poor enough performance against West Ham, but you know what? Same with Saka. I feel like he gets guaranteed minutes, and they're not. It's not like they're not making chances. It's just they're not tucking him away. So Fulham could be a good fixture for Jesus, and I'm happy to keep him. Although Watkins has a really good fixture this week, so that could be an issue. And lastly, we have Julian Alvarez against Sheffield United. I think he's a great pick this week. Would I be bringing him in? Probably not. I mean, Haaland is around the corner from coming back, and that would just save you a transfer in the future. But he could go nuclear against Sheffield United. That's the only thing. So I'm in a nice spot here where a lot of people won't be considering bringing in Alvarez, but he could easily hold this week or the next week. So yeah, that is the game week 20 team. I would just say, so we got Dubravka on the bench against Liverpool. That's grand. Colwell against Luton. I mean, not the best, not the worst or best thing in the world, but he's probably only going to get 2 or 6 points. And then we have Virgil at home to Newcastle, who I did consider starting. We're going to see what happens with Pau Torres first, though. And then last we have Mateta against Brentford. I'm not even considering starting him, so that's the game week 20 team, and hopefully we can push for somewhere close to the top 5 anyway. Let's see what happens. So going into game week 20, who would I be looking to bring in? For me, Phil Foden is a must. He's finding form, and he had an excellent game against Everton, and he is Sheffield United, Newcastle, and Burnley next. They could be great fixtures for him to hold, and I'd even be considering him as a great captaincy option in those fixtures. For me, I don't think he's a minute's risk with Haaland and De Bruyne, as I said. He can play on the right, he can play in the 10, and I just think he's a great option. I would also be looking at Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker is guaranteed minutes for City. Saying that, watch him get benched now, but he looks a great option. City have been fairly shaky at the back, but in terms of numbers, City are probably one of the best defenses in the league. And providing he gets minutes, I would say he's most likely to get a clean sheet against Sheffield United this week. So Brighton have just bet Spurs 4-2, and Brighton looked amazing, and Spurs looked terrible. So João Pedro scored 2 goals, and he's definitely someone I'd be considering. He didn't score a goal in open play. He scored 2 penalties, but he played really well against us, and he had a few chances. Another person I would definitely be looking at is Purvis Estupinian. At 4.9, he also has really good fixtures, and he looks a great shout for the coming weeks. And if Brighton find some form, maybe they can get some clean sheets. I know in that department they are lacking, but it's definitely someone I would be considering this week. So going into game week 20 captaincy, I expect it to be an interesting one this week. We have Watkins at home to Burnley, who I think will be the most popular choice, followed by Salah versus Newcastle, and then Son against Bournemouth. I mean, all 3 of those look great. And like I said, who I'll be captain is most likely going to be Phil Foden. Also, there will probably be some differentials like Nkunku or Palmer. I mean, they're not bad shouts against Luton either. So it'll be interesting to see what people do. Be sure to let me know in the comment section what you're thinking. And I will be doing a deadline stream on Saturday at around 9:30. If you're interested in that, be sure to follow and tune in. And I'll see you guys later. Thank you very much for watching.